What we're concerned with is getting one person better every single day within your space. And if that's 2 people or 20 people or 50, let's focus on that. And together, we're going to grow, we're going to win.
Our first episode of Real Estateable. We're so excited to have Quintavius Burdette with Remax with us today. Our conversation with him was amazing.
Literally, if you don't feel motivated after this, I don't know what would motivate you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure nothing. What was your biggest takeaway from today?
I mean, just his mindset. He is a very focused person. He grew up poor and with a lot of siblings, so I think that a work ethic and responsibility came to him very young, and I think that that's carried into his adult life. He mentioned he wants to retire when he's 30. So if you're wondering how well he's doing in the real estate business, he's trying to retire next year.
We're a little bit past that, but also aspire for the same things. One of the biggest things for me, takeaway was that he makes his phone calls quick and concise, wraps them up kind of where you're able to answer the phone on that first ring every single time, but not take a massive amount of time away from your day. Huge, impactful tip for me that implementing today.
Yeah, and I think he talks really well on how to communicate with people, how to get involved with the community, how he's reaching 500 people in a day within a few hours. So I think this is definitely worth a listen. It should help your business grow. It definitely is changing how I'm doing business later this week for sure.
Today, and within 5 minutes.
Yes.
So I hope you enjoy.
All right. So first of all, we just wanted to thank you for coming on to the show. And for our listeners who don't know who you are, can you kind of just tell us a little backstory, maybe like where you grew up, how you grew up, and we'll just go from there.
Yeah, so I'm from a very small town in Mississippi, Senatobia, Mississippi, about 30 minutes south of Memphis. I grew up one of 17 kids, grew up very, very poor. So everything that I had to work for. I'm a former athlete. I played football and ran track for most of my life in college, a little bit after college. And now I sell real estate.
Well, what made you want to get into real estate? Like why real estate after, playing college football, and why did you choose this route?
Yeah, so I like it. We getting right into the juice. So for you guys, I went to Ole Miss. I played ball. You can see the jersey in the background. I got a master's in accounting. I ended up moving to Atlanta. You take a Mississippi kid that's used to driving 3 or 4 miles at the age of 10. It takes me 5 minutes maybe. And you put me in Atlanta now where I'm driving 3 miles and it's taking me 45 minutes. I lost my mind. But that was not the reason I got into real estate. I got into real estate because one day I was sitting in my desk crunching numbers for this accounting firm. And when we had that meeting and they was going over the billing report, and I started to see a bunch of $400 an hour, $500 an hour for the work that I was doing. So I just went back to my desk that day. I Googled what profession I can make what I'm worth. Real estate popped up, and the rest is history. I put a 2-week notice in the very next day, moved from Atlanta, moved back home, got a real estate license, and now I'm on a podcast, baby.
Well, when I think of Q, though, I think of, okay, he's a risk taker with massive amount of reward for those risks. So you definitely inspire me to really like I knew that was your story, but to hear that, like chill bumps, to hear like, okay, I Googled it, 2-week notice, boom, here we are. Massive reward for that risk. How long ago was that? How long are we talking?
That was 4 years ago now.
Okay, 4 years ago. So so you're technically what they call a baby in the industry still.
I'm still a brand new agent, people. Please don't stop using me once you find out that I'm not the 15-year vet.
But let's get real. So let's get real on this. So, but baby agent, 4 years in the business. Tell us about what 2022 looked like for you. Like let's talk about your success as this baby agent, Remax. We saw you up on the stage. We're seeing you crushing it. Talk about 2022 and what you've achieved over those 4 years.
Yeah, so let's go back to year one. From day one, I set the tone I guess, for myself, for others around me, just for my tradition, for my pivotal moment in this business to be great. Whereas, my first 30 days in the business, I talked to over 6,000 people. And a lot of folks, we
Crazy.
skip over that information and say, hey, Q, where are you today? I want to tell you where I started. And I started in a little small office that didn't even have a window, but it had four walls and a place for me to sit. And I used to make calls all day long, 24/7, making calls, making calls. I would then go door knock. I would go to Kroger. I would bag groceries. And my first 30 days in the business, like I say, I talked to over 6,000 people. Well, my first 12 months in the business, I sold 106 houses. All right. And
Crazy.
then
That's
we fast
insane.
forward to year two, where I sold again over 100 houses, like 120 houses. And in year three, I did something so crazy that I'm still in shock. I was able to fill 307 properties by myself as a solo agent in this small baby market in
Yep.
Mississippi and Memphis. So I was so proud and so excited. I was a number two agent in the country for Remax. I'm traveling the world now, and in 2022 we had an even better year last year. So those are my 4 years in real estate, and we're going to talk more and more about that. I know as the show goes on, right?
Yeah.
So question for you. Selling that many houses, have you ever thought about starting a team? Like where you could not maybe not hand business off, but leverage other people to help you coordinate all that? Or are you just like so organized, so on top of your game that you're like, this is easy. I can do 300 in my sleep.
So, I mean, I go back and forth to myself literally every day,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes every other hour. Man, do I need to just roll this thing out? Do I need to just bring on folks? Yes, no. But it all boils down to, for right now, it's rolling the way it's rolling with me being
Yep.
the head, with me doing the work, and I'm still enjoying it. I still got things that I need to accomplish. I feel like within this business before I can say I'm ready to lead someone else and be responsible. I'm still a baby.
Mhm.
I'm still learning. There's some
Yep.
things that I don't quite get yet that I want to make sure that I'm on top of when it's time for me to roll out a team. I know how to go out and find and generate business for me. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, and I'm not as confident in being able to generate business for other folks. And you say, well, Q, that's crazy. You generated enough business to close 300 properties. Of course, you can help others. It's a confidence thing. I'm
Yeah.
confident in
Mhm.
me. I'm not confident in teaching others, going out, giving to others, and having them now step in and be me. So I have to get comfortable with that first before I can build that team. But that is my next step because, I don't want to be running crazy up and down the road forever. And in order for me
Yeah.
to get some of my time back, of course, I
Yeah.
have to bring on other folks and help them grow. And I'm starting to transition into that role more and more every day as I want to help others become what I've become or
Mm-hmm.
something close to
Yeah.
what I've
Well,
become.
and I see you doing that just like with you traveling and like
Yes.
you definitely inspire us. I feel like any interaction we've had, we walk away with inspiration. I see you doing that. I also see a drive kind of like no other. Like
Yeah.
I'm not sure when I think of someone with a passion, a drive, a hustle, it's you. You're the
I
definition of
Yep.
that.
I was going to say
Yep.
too, if you were to start a team,
Yeah.
how would you even match the intensity of like
Yep.
how I mean, if I feel like if I was on your team, I'd be like, man, I just cannot keep up with like the structure, the
Yeah.
time blocking, the all the things. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, trying to match I don't know. I mean,
Matching energy on
So,
that for sure.
yeah.
and that's something that I feel like I'm good at
Yeah.
Mhm.
identifying that I'm not going to find Q. There's no one out
Right.
there who really probably wants to
Yep.
be Q, really, when they find out what it takes to do what I've done. They don't want to do that. So I'm wise enough now to say, okay, I'm not going to find Q. But what I can do is find bits and pieces of myself
Mhm.
and others and help them become the best version of that as they can. And my goal is to, when I do start this thing, again, it's very close. I'm like about to walk into the
We're
room.
moving to Memphis. We'll see you soon.
There we
We're moving to
go.
Memphis.
But I want it to be a thing of they're no longer concerned with getting to Q's level. What we're concerned with is getting one person better every single day within your
Yeah.
space. And if that's 2 people or 20 people or 50, let's focus on that. And together,
Mhm.
we're going to grow and we're going to win. Again, I want to start my team, and my team is going to be awesome. I'm talking, we're going to have fun. We're going to get business. We're going to go on trips. We're going to do all this good stuff that
Okay, I'm
teams
officially
do.
leaving this team I'm on now to move on your team. That
Moving
sounds
on
like
this.
fun.
Okay, well, let's get real then. Let's talk about your local market. There's different areas of the country that are booming, growing, et cetera. But let's
Yeah.
talk about, you're talking over 300 transactions in a market that's I mean that's unheard of in the market that you're in. Can you talk a little bit about just like average price point, like really where you're selling? Because essentially it's the outskirts of Memphis is a small town, but talk about that because you're really pulling stuff out of the weeds. To
Yeah.
make those deals happen.
Correct. So where I am now, we're talking about an average price point of just under 300 grand. During the pandemic, it got up to around average price point being 325, but
Mhm.
now it's more stable and where it should be. This area here, we had last year, I think, just shy of 5,000 transactions in the entire market amongst all the
Mhm.
agents. And I think it's about 2,400 agents here.
Wow.
So that came out to be right over about 2 transactions per agent. And for a guy like myself to step in and be able to take on 300 of those, it took a lot of grind, a lot of work, a lot of patience, a lot of work over and over and over again. And I do a bulk of my business with matchmaking. Whereas,
Mhm.
I find
Yep.
sellers and buyers who want to buy each other's properties, and it makes the deals a lot smoother, a lot easier to deal with, but it takes work on my side to do that. Now, most of the time, I'm the only agent in the transactions where I had a client of mine who sold 70 properties to another client of mine who bought all 70 properties. That was a great
Mhm.
Wow.
day. But to find that that was willing to sell properties, I mean, I probably went through 3,000 calls. And to find
Mhm.
a guy who was looking to
Awesome.
buy the other part of the deal, it probably took me another 2,000 calls. So it's not an easy thing. Now, 3,000 calls is not a lot, really, to be honest with you. It's not. Over a course of 2 or 3 weeks, I found that deal and it happened and it closed in about 45 days. The paycheck on that outweighs the time that I spent.
Yeah,
But a
absolutely.
lot of folks look over the time spent. They just look at the deal.
Mhm.
They're so excited for
Mhm.
Q
Yeah.
because Q got a big deal. No, I want you to be excited because I showed up every single day and I got after it.
Yeah.
And I didn't quit. I didn't stop when that happened. Even when that deal was signed and sealed and I knew it was going to close, I came the very next day like I had nothing.
Nothing.
Those
Yep.
are
You
the
start.
agents that I want to attract, and that's the market that I'm in.
So talk about how you structure your day because I like you just kind of like talked a little bit into that. Every day you start over. That's one of the things I
Yeah.
take away from you too. So talk about how do you structure your day and the restart of that every day.
Yeah,
Perfect
so
example.
it starts with getting 4 points a day. And for all you guys who don't know what that means for me is a contract is worth 4 points, a listing agreement is 2 points, showing a buyer a house is 1 point, and meeting potential customers looking to do business within 90 days is a half a point. And I start my day every day with 0, and I'm trying to get 4. So I wake up, I go to the gym in the mornings. I make sure that I'm in my office by about 8:30. Today I had this podcast, so I got here a little earlier just so I can make sure I get some things tidied up before I had to jump on.
Mhm.
I was still doing things when I came on, but it's more. I don't have time blocks, whereas I don't check the clock. If you look at my watch right now, my watch is wrong. My watch is like 2 hours and 41 minutes wrong. And it's wrong on purpose because I don't check the time to see what time of the day it is because my day is structured by activity. I have
Mhm.
a first, second, and third activity in every single day. Like today, being Wednesday, is open. So I have time. My first thing that I can do right now on a Wednesday is to be open, which means I can do whatever I want. I can do this podcast because it's open. When I'm done with
Mhm.
this podcast, I'm done doing everything else that I really want to do. Then I have to make 150 calls. It tells me right there on that board. And after that,
Mhm.
I have to go door knock after 5 p.m. So I have to get all this stuff done before 5 p.m. because after 5 p.m. I have to go door knock. It tells me on tomorrow, follow up, study the market, make 200 calls, leave the office early. I put that stuff into my schedule. Friday, show up, go to a location, pass out 50 business cards. So my days are structured the same by the activity. But every day is, of course, different because my phone rings. Hey, Q, we want you to come and look at this. You just witnessed two people call me and say, hey, I want to sell a
Mhm.
house. Okay, I'll call you back later. Hey, we have a deal. We're trying to make it work. What can we do? Give them instructions on how to get it done. I'll get it to my client. We'll probably sign it. So just little stuff like that go on all day long. But one thing remains the same. I get 4 points a day, regardless of yesterday's activities. And I don't move forward until I do
I love how specific you are. Like, I'm going to make 150 calls today. I'm going to make 200 calls tomorrow. Um, I do have a question. So, do you hit the 4 points every single day?
it.
Like 7
I
days a week, every single day.
think I hit the 4 points every single day because I'm
Wow.
always either showing, I'm always meeting folks who are looking to do business. I'm always either getting a contract or putting listings in. So like I will get a contract today. So I know for a fact I got 4 points yesterday. I know for a
Mm-hmm.
fact I'll get 4 points today. And hopefully one of my listings go on a contract tomorrow, or I get more listings. This guy called me today, say, hey, I want to sell my house. So I'll probably push him into tomorrow because I know I got 4 points today. I'm not going to overwork
Mm-hmm.
myself. I'll meet with him tomorrow, get his
That's
listing
good.
signed, go show some props. So I will get 4 points. And it's all about structuring your day. You asked me that question, how do you do it? Well, I don't try to overload myself, but it's some days the overload just happens naturally where I
Yeah.
might have 25, 30 points in a day. It wasn't the plan,
Wow.
and I'm not going to stop. But the thing of on those days, the 25 to 30 points don't roll over to the next day. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's one of those things where, I'm so focused in the production of work that
Yeah.
nothing else truly matters outside of I have to show up and do it again and again and again. So
And you're doing the stuff too that people like everyday agents don't want to do.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
Like,
it.
I don't know many people who get excited for cold calling or door knocking or just talking to people in general. Like you said, going
Yeah.
to a spot and handing out X amount of cards. Um, like that's genius. And it's so easy to do. Hey, here's my business card. If, and just having like a short conversation. But I think new agents and experienced agents are also like, they just don't want to do that stuff.
What keeps you motivated in that? I think that, over time I've had ebbs and flows over 15 years of being in the business, and it's like sometimes I can be super on fire for after 5 p.m. door knocking, and other times like nah, it's not happening. And I think family plays into that, etc. But what
Yeah.
keeps you motivated to besides I mean the daily win, you set yourself up to win every day, but
Yeah.
besides that, what motivates you to keep on that grind over and over again?
Because I have a goal of retiring by the age of 30. All right. I
Yep.
just turned 29 in March. So I have another year to work because I worked through my 30th birthday. So I have that goal that if I work now and I work through my 20s, I can live my 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s the way I want. And before, probably about 7 months ago, my goal was to have 30 properties by the time I was 30. Well, now I have 47 properties. So now I just up that to say, hey, I want to try to get maybe 60. And I have to buy a whole lot of properties left in order to reach that new goal. So I'm always hitting a goal and then I up the goal to do something better. And that's how it's been. I've realized in my career so far, every single goal that I've set, I don't know if it's a bad thing or not, but every single goal that I've set, I've actually hit. And at some point, you get to a point to where you're saying, you know what? I'm tired of reaching goals. I'm tired of hitting
Yeah.
goals. It's time for me to live life. And I think when I hit 30 and I look back over the last 5 years of my life, because I told myself I was going to do this for about 5 years, and then I was going to sit back and reflect on where I am. I think once I hit 30, I'm going to be proud of myself. And I'm going to be able to then live my life the way I want to live it and the way that other kids around me can see, hey, if I do this as well, I can do it. Because, hey, I'm not a genius. I'm nothing really special. I'm just a kid that shows up and kick ass. That's it. And everybody can be that person. You just have to commit
If they
yourself
show
and
up.
do it
Yep.
and do it.
Yep.
So for me, what keeps me driving is the little boy from Senatobia who thinks he's going to go pro, but maybe he won't, maybe he will. What is he going to fall back on? I want to be the example. I want to be the example of the agent who's been in the business 20 years, who's now thinking this business is no longer something that's doable for them. I want to show them that, yes, this business is still thriving. I want to be the person for the brand new agent that just started 2 years ago, a year ago, 6 months, 3 years ago, they can look up and say, I can have early success in this business if I just work. So that's why I do it, for the other people to see and have an example of someone that they can follow. And it's never about me. If it was about me, I would have stopped a long time ago. I come
Yeah.
from a family of one of 17 kids where my parents never made more than 40 grand in a year. And you're talking about on months, I'm making $400,000-500,000 in a month. That's more than enough for a guy like me. So I would have stopped a long time ago if it was about pleasing me and doing the things for me. Now this is about the people. How many people can I help, inspire, motivate to get up and do it the way that I do it in order for their lives to be better? That's what it's about.
I
I feel like I'm super motivated now. Can we just hang up and go
we're about
go
to
do all
start
the things?
start cold calling for sure. I want to talk a little bit about cold calling because I
Mhm.
think that is I like you inspire me so much on that level there. Can you talk about like specifics on that, like your dialing system?
Yes,
Where are you getting numbers? I know I've heard you speak on like the 5 key points to get through the
that's
conversation.
it.
In hearing the role playing with you on that, I'm like, man, I'd have that conversation all day long. Like it's just you're just calling and talking to people. It's not.
That's
It is
it.
about the business, but you don't make it about that. So talk
Mhm.
talk a little bit
Yep.
about that cold calling.
Yeah, so when I cold call, I'm using either Red X, which is something, you have Vulcan, you have Mojo, you have all these different things. I just find Red X to be the easiest to use. It's not the
Hmm.
most accurate, of course, like any of them. It's not hey, you have to use Red X to be successful. No, if you can find a source that can give you numbers, then it's the right source. So I use RedX, and what I do is I go into MLS or I go on Zillow or any place where you can find an address. I put that address in and places that I want to sell, I like, I know, I understand, and it pulls me up the next 300, 200, 100 numbers, and I just call around it. Now, will all the information be correct? No. And you're not calling for the information to be correct. You're
Hmm.
calling for somebody to pick up the phone and say hello. And if they do that, here are 5 points for you to have a successful call. All right. Step one, you want to know who you're talking to. So you have to ask for the person. And within step one, there are 4 key points that you should hit in order to say, hey, do I need to move on to step two or do I end this call right now on step one? You have to first understand what step one is. You're getting to know the person, and they can only be one of 4 people. They can be Sarah, if you're calling Sarah by name. That's the first thing. You have to call the person by name within step one. Hey, may I speak with Sarah? If it's not Sarah, the next person they can be is the owner of the address that you're calling about. Okay, so then you use the address. Okay, awesome. It's not Sarah. Are you the owner of 123 Main Street? If that's not the one owner of 123 Main Street, they can only be this person next. Hey, do you own a house here in Mississippi? So use the state. If they
Yep.
don't
State.
own a house here in the state, they're not Sarah and they're not the owner of 123 Main Street. The last thing you need to ask before you decide whether or not you need to move on or get off the phone or continue is okay, well, do you want to own a house here in Mississippi? And the rule
Yep.
is one yes, you move on to step two. Four
Hmm.
no's, you're out. So step one, ask for the person. If it's Sarah, perfect. Move on to step two. If it's not Sarah, use the address. If it's the address owner, move on to step two, and so on down the line. Step two, introduce yourself. This has to be short and sweet, not this. I cannot get on the phone and say, this is Quintavius Burdette with Remax Experts in Germantown, Tennessee. Click. They're going to hang up every
Mm-hmm.
We're
time.
done. Yeah.
We're done. My parents cursed me, giving me a name that long to say. So I just say, hey, this is Q over with Remax. And within the same breath, you have to do step 3, which is give back to their time. Okay? You have to give back to their time, which means you have to ask them just a simple question. Hey, is now a good time for you? Hey, do you have a minute? Hey, whatever it is. And my go-to is, hey, it's Q over at Remax. Did I catch you at a bad time?
Mm-hmm.
All within the same breath. So I've done number 1, 2, and 3 within 30 seconds of the first call. They're going to say yes or no. Depending on if they say yes or no, we have to do step 4, which is the most difficult part of this call. You have to neutralize the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Most folks who are in sales or folks who are calling to get something done, they just want to get to the point. They want to get to whatever it is that they're calling about too soon. You have to be relatable. So this is why it's important to neutralize the conversation. For me, I use, hey, Ole Miss baseball won the Natty last year. We're not doing so well. Are you an Ole Miss fan? Or, hey, Ole Miss football, we're looking pretty good. We got a couple of transfer quarterbacks in. You think we're going to win it this year? I'm not an Ole Miss fan. Oh, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And for all you folks who are going to say, well, Q, I'm not a sports person. I can't relate to that. I have one for you. You can neutralize your conversation by saying, hey, I'm taking a quick survey today, and I'm asking folks, are you a cat person or a dog person?
That applies to everybody.
Yeah.
And you listen to what they're going to say. And the key to that is you always want to make them feel like they're in the majority. So if they say, man, I'm a cat person, you say, awesome. I've talked to about 50 people today. And so far, I got about 30 people that said cat and 20 people that said dog. So you guys are definitely in the majority. But you cannot stay at that neutralizer for too long. You have to say
Mm-hmm.
whatever you're going to say, get their response, and then we have to hit step 5. We have to get to the point. And if I'm going to use the cat and dog and they're going to say, I'm a dog person, I'm saying, awesome, you guys are definitely in a majority there. But hey, look here, you have a property in Mississippi, or hey, you have a property at 123 Main Street, or hey, Sarah, you have a property located in the city. I was just giving you guys a quick call to see if you guys thought about potentially upsizing, downsizing, kind of moving on from that property at this time. And it's just short, sweet, nice. A nice way of asking them, hey, do you want to buy or sell? Never use those words. Hey, have you guys thought about selling? Hey, do you guys want
Mm-hmm.
to buy another property?
Yep.
Never use those words. Disguise what it is that you're saying. If you was to go on a date, you would not ask, hey, you want to go back to my place? No, you probably ask, hey, you want to go catch a movie? You want to go catch a movie? That sounds a lot better than just being so direct. Okay, so we have to
Yeah.
do the same thing when we're talking to folks on the phone about this real estate. We have to disguise what we're really asking them as much as possible. Those are the 5 keys to cold calling. And for all the folks who say, well, Q, I want to go door knock, they're the same 5, but it's really 4. You just drop step 1, start with step 2.
Yep.
So you don't want to be at someone's door. Are you Ashley? Is this your house? No, just start with step 2. Introduce yourself, give back to the time, neutralize the conversation, then get to the point if you want to go door knocking.
When you're door knocking, are you giving the homeowner something like other than maybe a card, like a flyer or anything, like a
So
takeaway?
I give them
Q's look is I'm giving my time.
Yeah.
I give
Easier.
them a business card. I don't like giving out free information, so quote unquote, what it is. I can talk you through the information, but I don't want to give you anything with all the information on it. So, or I take a letter that's very direct of saying, hey, I have a client that's looking at your subdivision. If you guys have thought about potentially doing anything with your property, give me a call. We can potentially do a quick deal off market. Or I do a letter of, hey, I'm giving away 500 slices of cheesecake in your area on this date. Please come out and support that event and get your free slice of cheesecake. I look forward to seeing you. So little things like that is what I would give out. I'm not going to give out a market update or anything crazy. I want to come off as the guy that's not selling real estate, but just making a lot of friends that talks about the guy that's selling real estate. That's what I really want.
Yeah, yeah.
I've heard you speak on looking at like your tax records and kind of pairing people who own a lot of properties, and then kind of matchmaking with your buyers. Can you talk on that for a second and just how you pull those together?
Yes. Can you guys hear that thing in the background?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
One
You
second. Hey, 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 hey!
okay.
Turn it up. I'm in a meeting.
Turn it off. I'm in a meeting. Oh man, I love that. He's just I feel like I'm so motivated already just from what we've
Yeah.
talked about so far.
We're door knocking after 5 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm
That's too
back. I
funny.
had to get the lawn
Okay.
people away. But
Okay, ask that question. Ask that question again.
Okay, so I've heard you talk about like matchmaking through going through like tax records or through the tax assessor,
yes,
with people who own 10 or more properties. Can you talk on that and kind of how you came about in doing that? And just kind of like that process of the matchmaking.
yeah, so it was a thing of, hey, my time, what's the best use of my time? Is it calling folks who owns one property they can sell and maybe buy one other property? Or can I call folks who have multiple who could potentially buy in bulk or sell in bulk? And I started to say, you know what? I'm just gonna start focusing on folks who owns 5 or more properties. And then I started to say, hey, I'm only gonna focus on folks who owns 10 or more properties. So I would go to my tax assessor and you can put it in alphabetical order and it's going to show you all the properties that someone owns. And I just find the ones who have more, 10 or more. I click on them, I call them only, and I try to figure out, hey, man, you have about 10 properties here in DeSoto County. I'm just giving you a quick call to see, hey, have you guys thought about maybe offloading those properties, or are you looking to add more to your portfolio? If you're looking to add more, tell me what it is that you're looking for. So when I'm making calls and I'm calling out to folks and something that fits your box across my desk, I can bring it to you directly. And they love that. They love it.
Yeah.
Or, hey, have you guys thought about potentially selling everything and buying more somewhere else or buying more here? How long have you had these properties? So that has found a lot of success doing that versus just calling the person who owns one house, because now I don't have to make as many calls.
Yeah.
I'm calling the same people over and over and over, and I'm working with a group of maybe 100 people now that
Hmm.
owns a lot of property within the area. That maybe this guy owns 5 or 6, and maybe this guy owns 20, and maybe he wants to sell all 20, and he wants to buy another 5 or 6. He wants to buy another 5 or 6. Now I can piece that together and sell all his 20, or I can sell all his fives to the guy who owns 20. That has become my way of kind of doing my cold calls. But then when I go out to the public, I can only knock one door at a time. So I said, this is going to be my trade off. When I call, I'll call multiple. When I knock one. So that's
Hmm.
kind of why I changed it up.
You just spoke about door knocking for your events. Can you talk about like the kind of events that you do in your
Yeah.
community? What you're doing with that?
Yeah, so I give away, let's say, 500 boxes of pizza or 500 slices of cheesecake. Or on Thanksgiving, I go to my Walmart in my hometown and I go to a certain aisle and everyone can come to that aisle and I pay for their Thanksgiving groceries. I do a giveaway around Christmas where they have to guess how many peanuts or M&Ms or Skittles are in a jar to win a PlayStation 5 or Xbox, or a small vacation somewhere. So I do all those things. I try to do something once a quarter, because when you do
Hmm.
something like that, like you give away 500 boxes of pizza. Well, 500 people have come to one location that's going to maybe take about 6 or 7 hours to meet 500 people, and one location
Hmm.
that you can shake hands in person with. That is huge. If one person buy a house from that event, it's worth it. But what it comes out to be is all those folks show up. I'm being myself, smiling, laughing, giving out the pizza, giving out the cheesecake, doing all this good stuff. And now it's talked about on social media in the public
Mhm.
for months.
Is that always for open for the community, or is that for your clients?
No, so I never limit anything just to my clients. What I do is
Yep.
I open it to the first 500 people to show up. So
Mm,
now it's a race. You don't have time to
Yeah.
sit in bed and, oh, do I want to go now? Do I want to go? No, if you don't go now, you might not be one of the first. So that's the very key thing. You always have to put a limit of, hey, it's going to be 100 people, but it's going to be the first 100 people. And then I do some things just for my clients, but I don't advertise it broadly. I just text them individually. Hey, I want you guys to come up here. Hey, you guys, I want to meet you for dinner. But if I'm going to broadcast it, I'm going to open it to any and everybody because I don't want anybody to think Q is running a cult, that outside folks are not welcome. No, if
yeah.
you see it and you're one of the first, I want to meet you anyways, because that's the name of the game. You have to continue every single day to try to meet brand new people. A lot of folks say that the money is in the follow up. I would say that the money is in meeting brand new people because the more people that you know, the more people that knows your name that can talk good about you, the more opportunities deal wise that you can have. Because you can follow up, follow up, follow up, but if you're not meeting new people, eventually your circle of people are going to buy enough houses to where they're not going to need you anymore. So why
Yeah.
not just focus on meeting brand new people more than you're actually following up, and let's see what it runs. And a lot of people say, well, Q, that's not scalable. Tell me it's not scalable. Tell me, please
Yeah.
try to tell me that's scalable.
Our lips are closed right now. We're not
Yeah.
telling you that.
So
Okay.
do you partner with like a local pizza place, or are you like $5 Little Caesars or
No, I do the
local?
local businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
I want to help them out. I want to bring the traffic to their place because then what happens is, they get to advertise it. I
Yeah.
advertise it. Then the newspaper get involved. The South Haven Commerce get involved, and it's just a lot of great things to happen when you do local, and you're
Mm-hmm.
helping someone that's here. I mean, from the cheesecake deal, I'm actually helping them through helping folks that they know buy houses, sell houses. From doing that, people who show up, and I met one of the largest developers here at one of those events. He came and got a free slice of cheesecake, and we met for the first time. I'm not doing business with him, but he knows my name and who I am, and he
Yeah.
appreciates
Yeah.
me. His kids are real estate agents, so of course I'm not going to get that. But someday, one day, what if they retire? What if they want to do something
Yeah.
different? I feel like that guy's going to call me because of all the things that I've done right there near where he is. So,
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's talk about servicing your clients. So you obviously have 300 and something closings a year, but you still provide like your VIP treatment. I know we've seen like your moving truck. So kind of what all does that include, your VIP treatment?
yeah, so it's a thing where it's every single time my phone rings, I answer it. That's VIP treatment. It doesn't matter how
Yep.
busy I am, who I'm with, what appointment I'm in, I will answer the phone. That does not mean every single time my phone rings, I can talk. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I ask quick questions. Hey, can you be quick? If not, I have to call you back. You guys have witnessed that 2 times this
Yep.
morning, whereas my phone ring and I answer and I ask them, hey, we have to be quick about it, or else I can give you a call back later. But that's one thing. A lot of agents, they take that for granted. They don't answer their phones. They're not responsive. Me, you call me right now, I answer my phone. But also, I don't leave you hanging. That's VIP. Things of I have contractors that work directly for me, with me, with renovating all my properties. But also, if you need any work done, we don't have to worry about finding someone that can do it. I have them
Mm,
all on standby, and when I call, they show up. That is VIP treatment. I have a moving truck, whereas you don't have to go to U-Haul and stand in line and risk them canceling the moving truck on you the day of your move. You can use my trucks, and for a small fee, a lot less than what these moving companies will charge you. When I give you an example, a moving company gave a client of mine a quote of like $5,500 to do all the moving for them. We did it for less than 2 grand. Okay, so I
mm-hmm.
have guys who will work and actually move your stuff for you as well whenever you need it done. That's VIP treatment. I have lawn guys, I have landscaping, I have everything that they would need, but also I have the expertise and the knowledge within my market that a lot of agents come to me for just advice, or if they have clients looking for properties, or if they have properties that their clients will want to get rid of. Some of them call me before they ever put it on the market. That is VIP treatment. Whereas I'm talking to more folks every single day than anyone else in my market. So I can stay ahead of what's happening in order so I can give you that VIP treatment. So I take care of my folks from start to finish, whereas my assistant, she does all of the paperwork type stuff. All right. But me, I do all of the communicating with the agents, with the clients. That communication comes through me. It might my assistant or text me and say, "Hey, I just sent a document to John." I call John. "Hey, John, brother, we just sent you a document, man. Let me know if you have any questions on it." I'm still doing that stuff. So I make sure that the clients are happy, the agents are happy that I'm working with, so my reputation can always go further. And my trucks are not just for my clients. I have some agents who, their clients U-Haul get canceled. They call me, "Q, you have anybody using your trucks today? Can one of my clients use one of your trucks?" Of course they can, because they're going to remember that I stepped in and I helped them in that time. And maybe I won't get them, but maybe they might send me their brother, their sister, their friend. You never know. So
Yeah. Yeah, so as you were saying all of those things too, I think like we sometimes think about things being of value to like for the VIP experience, like things I gotta do stuff. And like what you were just describing, like you are the value that you're providing to
yes,
not only your clients, your past, present, future, but the real estate community itself too. The other thing that I am taking away, and I actually saw you modeling it this morning. I'm like, man, I wait so long during the day for me to have time to take a call, and you buttoned up a conversation that would normally take 15 minutes. Hey, I'm busy right now. Can we make it quick? Making those calls quick and right on the spot. Man, you're that
Yeah.
is my biggest takeaway
It
today.
it sets the
For sure.
expectation of the call.
Yeah.
Like,
Like you're gonna
"Hey,
make
what are you
this
doing?"
quick.
"Oh, nothing." Like,
Yeah.
"No, are you gonna be quick or should I call you
Or
back?"
should I call you back? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was telling Ashley earlier today, I went home last night from 5 to 8. I was wrapping up my day. Where if I would
yep,
have done what that one step, if I would have just been pick up the phone, this has to be quick. I would have avoided about 4 30-minute phone calls in what should have been, blocked for family,
yep.
for nothing really. So that's definitely a takeaway that I am today. We're about to be making it quick. Don't call
I
me, make
I
it
was
quick.
like 45 minutes of that 5 to 8 last night.
That is
Like,
true.
"Hey, what are you doing?" "Oh, nothing."
That is true. So from now on, it's make it quick conversations only,
That's it.
for sure. So too funny.
Okay, so what would be your best piece of advice to give a brand new agent or maybe an agent who's struggling to kind of get their feet on the ground?
Yep. My advice would be cut the negative thoughts out today. This business is going to go up and it's going to go down. You just have to make sure you're always around. It's going to go up, it's going to go down. You have to make sure you're always around. What that means to me is you have to show up and take care of the things that you can control. There is nothing else really going on in this business that you can control other than your effort every single day. You cannot control interest rates. You cannot control when somebody's going to call you to sell a house or buy a house. You cannot control when the buyer is going to want to put in an offer. You can't control what offer they're going to want to put in. But what you can control is your activities every single day, day in and day out. And if you was to focus on that more than you focus on the outcome of I don't have any closings, then I think then you will start to see true success. I don't count closings. If you ask me how many deals you have going on right now, Q, I promise you I could not tell you because I am not connected to the deal at all. And I say
Yeah.
that in a way to say I do not care if the deal closed or not. I want every deal to close. I'm working towards it, but my job is to do everything in my power to make sure we're in a position to close, but I'm not emotional about it. I'm not going to get upset if my buyer wants to cancel a contract after the inspection. I'm not attached to that deal. I'm not going to get upset if my seller don't want to make repairs that I think maybe is simple and she should make. And if I can explain that to her and she gets it, then it's awesome. But if I explain it to her and she still don't want to do it, I'm okay with her saying I don't want to do it. So do not get so caught up in the deal. Treat your people the way they want to be treated. Get so caught up in the activities that you're doing every single day that eventually you have so many deals going on, you don't have to worry about that. So that's my advice. Don't give up. You can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. Just remember, you have to stay around. The market is going to go up, it's going to go down. You just have to stay around.
Love it.
Okay, so we are going to end the episode. We asked like 3 questions.
Okay.
So question number 1, what has been the most influential book that you've read, either like for your business?
I'm not a big reader, if I'm being
Okay.
honest.
Yeah.
I don't read a whole lot. I think something that is very, very beneficial to my business is my ability that I broke down my 168, which is you have 168 hours in a week. I broke that down. And what I included in that time was my game time. I think me playing the game every single day, I play Call of Duty Warzone. I think that is a real like key moment, key part of my day as to why I can be so successful the next day. I'm not telling you guys to go play video games. What I'm saying is find whatever it is within your day. If it's reading a book, if it's going for a walk, working out, playing a video game, going on whatever it is that takes your mind away from it all and be non-negotiable about that time. It doesn't matter what else is going on. You take that time every single day. So I'm not a book reader. I'm an activity guy. And the best activity I think that keeps me going is my ability to separate and play my video game.
That's awesome. Well, what would you say? So video games could be an answer for this, but what are your hobbies? What are things that you like to do outside of real estate?
Yes, so I ride four wheelers. I go jet skiing. I like to fish. I like to just hang out with my friends. I'm a big kid. I like to go to amusement parks. If you go to my social media, you'll see me at Disney
Yep.
recently.
Yeah.
I do a lot of traveling now. Speaking, that's become a hobby for me that I really, really enjoy. But it goes back. I just want to be in a place where the folks around me are happy. I'm happy. We're having fun. And at the end of the day, it's no pressure to do business.
Love it.
Last question. How would you want people to describe you or know you by? Know you by or for?
Yeah, so if you're describing me, I would like for you to say this is one guy that we can trust, we can count on. He's not going to give up on us. He's going to show up. He's going to use his resources to better my life, your life, their life. Just someone that, when you look in the mirror and you say, hey, I can't do it, you look at me and say, you know what, I actually can because of this kid. I just want to be that inspiration. I want to be the person that you look at as motivation, someone that you look at as a reason to say, I can't stop now. So I want you to describe me as that person when you're talking about me. And all the other things are going to take care of itself. Am I a great agent? I think I am. Other folks think I am. But I don't want to be known for that. I want to be known for the things that I do to inspire you in life, whether it's real estate, whether it's working out, whether it's playing a video game, whether it's whatever it is that you truly, truly love to do, that I do well at, that you see. I want to be the inspiration.
Q, we cannot thank you enough. Seriously, let's
Thank
go.
you.
I'm super motivated now.
Seriously.
If people want to connect with you or follow you, where can they find you?
Yes, so Instagram is probably the best place because
Mhm.
Facebook, they limit you to only 5,000 friends. Well, I've had to remove some old friends to get new friends, and I'm tired of doing that. So let's just meet on Instagram. You can always send me a direct message. You can get my number. You can shoot me a text. Don't call me about just random crap. Shoot me a text so I can call you back later in that day. But you can always hit me up on IG. That is Quintavius Burdette on Instagram. Quintavius Burdette, Burdette. I know it's long, but hey, just type it in and follow me.
Long name, amazing results, and we can attest to that.
Yeah.
Thank you so
There we
much.
go.
Thank you so much for coming on.
We
Thank
appreciate
y'all.
you.
I really
Appreciate you.
appreciate it.
All right. We'll see you.
Holy cow.
That was awesome.
I feel
So
like
good.
we have so much to unpack with that interview.
I know.
I wish I had a quarter of that motivation and the mindset to actually go out and do the things.
The grit, the tenacity, like I was like he's saying how he does this and keeps at this capacity all the time, and I'm
Every
like
day, not even all the time, every single day,
literally 7
waking
days a
up
week.
and scheduling his week of his 168 hours. I think a big takeaway for me was his 5 points for the cold calling and door knocking, going through that order. And I feel like if you just role play or, maybe even write out a script and just practice it with different people and running through different scenarios, I mean, you could.
Well, I feel like it was natural too. Like listening to that, I was like, well, I would answer to that. Like you said, naturally,
Yeah.
salespeople get no's. That's what we're kind of wired to do. So I feel like it was not. It was an organic kind of conversation. The other thing that I love is that his day, his 4-point system that he works on every single day. Every day starts over.
Yes.
So it's like it doesn't matter what's behind you, what's ahead of you. Today, you're getting 4 points to win the game over and over again, like clockwork. I think it sets you up to have the long-term success. You're not worried about, what's come before.
Yeah. I know a big takeaway for you was the phone call.
Yeah,
situation.
the phone call for sure. Definitely making sure that you are keeping conversations concise, kind of compact, making sure that you're not pushing them to the end of the day, because then that just is not going to get you accomplished through anything.
Yeah, I'd really like to try the pizza idea, what he talked about buying pizzas for the public.
Yeah.
I mean, supporting local, getting your name out there and meeting new people. And that's really what real estate is, just growing your contact list, which can turn into leads. And
yeah. Well, and I think there's like so many aha moments in this, but I think really when it comes down to it, and Q said it best, it's like he's just a boy from Mississippi that's showing up every single day over and over again. Like, y'all, we have no excuses. Like there is no excuse for us to not get it done and win day after day. Market high, low, doesn't matter. Let's go.
Yes. All right. If you guys found that this episode was helpful or you liked it, you want to hear more, feel free. We would love for you to download the podcast and give us a 5-star review on whatever platform you listen to.
Yep. And then don't forget our spreadsheet that we use every day in our business. The free resource is available for you to download at any time at realestateable.com/spreadsheet.
All
right. We'll see you guys next time.